Hi, I'm Ravi. This is Pavan.
A few moments later.
What nonsense.
Hi all, today we have a new phase at the Plaeto Pod. I'm Gauri Nair, MBA student from IIM Bangalore, and today I am shadowing the journey of Ravi and Pavan at Plaeto. And for the podcast today, we have a very interesting topic. We are going to be discussing about why did school shoes in India need to be rethought. So we see most of the companies in India today focus on the Western foot as a reference for while making shoes. Why did you choose Indian feet as a reference, and what made you challenge the norms?
Yeah, so I'll take a step back into the way we think. Plaeto is a company that's built on innovation, and we constantly question the way things are done. Even if we have done something, we'll go and question it a few months later. So from that perspective, when we started off, we were asking this question that people are buying shoes for 10,000 rupees and 20,000 rupees and they're complaining that it's not comfortable. So why is it so, we were asking. Or, for example, we noticed that the feet were bending at the metatarsal joint at a certain angle. And why is it that shoes are, the entry into the shoe is always straight when the feet are bending at an angle? So that is how some of the changes we made to the design evolved. For example, if you look at the amount of room we've provided in the front of the shoe, it came from this insight that people were buying expensive shoes and not feeling comfortable. So we went and measured the feet of 800 people across the country using very sophisticated digital scanners. We took the data, analyzed it, and found that feet in India, most people have feet which are like 15 to 20% wider in the toe area. The reason we found was that we are all used to open footwear and the feet tend to take its natural shape. So if you try and put a wider foot into a narrower shoe, within a few minutes you'll realize that you feel pain in places where you never even have thought of. So that's the insight with which we kind of developed a broader, I would say, the toe area. We took the data, we went to Italy, we got the best tool makers in the world to redesign or create an Indian foot form called the last, based on which our shoes are made. That's why we find that we're getting feedback that, hey, your shoes fit better than some of the other shoes that I have. A lot of people have given up more expensive brands to wear our shoes because they found they're more comfortable than that.
With the consumer base in India evolving every day, we see that people are making a conscious choice about the personal items that they are using. So how do you think the parents and children have evolved or been educated in the foot health area?
Yeah, that's an interesting question because the Indian consumers are evolving in every aspect of their life, be it technology, being products they use, etc. But for some reason, footwear has always lagged behind, and we've always wondered why. We have our own theories about that. Footwear in the hierarchy of needs in India is a little way below the other things. And it could be because culturally we are walking on surfaces which are not very clean, and you don't want to bring that into the house. And something which is kept outside the house is a little less value than in the mind compared to some of the other things which you want to come and store it inside. So that could be the reason where people are not paying enough attention to footwear as a category itself. And foot health is kind of not at the top of the mind because of that reason. The biggest challenge that we have is talking about foot health to people, because if you look at anybody's life, they're on the feet most of the time, waking time I would say, and the impact of that is felt over many years. There could be, it could lead to serious problems in terms of how people will change the way they walk to adjust themselves to the footwear they're wearing, and 10 years later they find that, hey, they have a problem with the back and the knee, and they'll never connect it to the shoes they started wearing. So the most challenging part of building Plaeto has been to kind of communicate what foot health means and what the impact of that is in the life of a consumer. And many of them, when you tell them, they say, this is what foot health is actually.
What nonsense.
5 minutes later.
So Pavan, we don't see much innovation in school shoes today. What kind of research and development went behind Plaeto?
Absolutely. So that's exactly why we are here. If you look at schools as a space, everything about schools changed. The classrooms became smart classrooms. Technology, of course, has invaded. Schools don't look like schools anymore. But one thing that didn't change is school shoes, right? And when I still see kids wearing the same shoe that I wore decades ago to school, it really hurts us to think that the school shoe brands are not thinking about the foot health of a growing child. And that's exactly where Plaeto came in. We are perhaps the first school shoe brand in the country, or perhaps even globally, to focus on the foot health of a growing child. So we worked with 800 children to understand the biomechanics of the foot, and we broke the whole thinking around school shoe design which existed and built it all back to take care of foot health of a growing child.
If you could go back in time and choose a color for your school shoes, which color would you choose and why?
I would certainly go for a blue. In fact, I'm a one color guy.
I have for the most part liked something around blues and greys. Now of course I'm willing to experiment a little more, so I love the olive I'm wearing, because school shoes have been either black largely or some white, and it's a very boring element of a school uniform. And in many ways it doesn't complete the uniform, because you have the apparel part of the uniform which has the school logo, all of that, but then school shoes are any black or white. So that's where Plaeto came in and innovated to customize school shoes to integrate them into the uniform, rest of the uniform, be it in terms of building the ethos of the school, building the colors of the logo, the house colors and so on into the school shoe to complete the picture of uniformity in a school child. And last year about 55,000 kids wore customized school shoes and they just love them. And this year we are looking at touching the lives of 100,000 kids through customization.
Uniforms are undergoing a change in schools, and it's becoming more and more colorful, and children love color. For some reason that has evaded shoes, and that's what we are trying to change here actually.
What was the first response to the Plaeto shoes that you guys launched, and what were the outcomes and any first failures that you had while launching the shoes?
One of the biggest lessons for me personally is that building anything, your life, your career, even a startup, is a series of failures, and you just have to fall and recover, and that's what exactly happened when we launched. So there's a backstory to this. We launched during COVID and none of the schools were open, there's no consumers to sell to. So we used the time to develop the product. So we did a lot of research, and then one of the things we did was to change the process to make a product a lot more sustainable. And it's an innovative process, so we developed it and we tested with children. At that time they were just playing in apartments because there was no school. And we found that the 3 months of wear test that we normally prescribe, we cleared that fairly easily. And little did we realize that we had tested it during the months of September through December, which is when the weather is fairly cold and the temperatures were low. So we said that, hey, the shoe is ready for launch, and then we put it out in February, March, and within the first couple of months of launch we realized that we were getting complaints of failure, and we had already sold 10,000 pairs. And then when we went and researched as to what that failure was, it was mainly because of COVID related supply chain failures, where one of the chemistries had probably been exposed to elements longer than what it was prescribed to be. And when shoes started failing, first was panic, then was endless stress, and then we sat down and said, what do we do? So we kind of arrived at a plan. If you recall, I think I must have signed 10,000 letters to parents who had bought those shoes. We had by then sold 10,000 pairs, and we must have visited hundreds of houses, and we sat in the living rooms and explained to them what happened. It was a mistake on our part, and we replaced 10,000 pairs. Huge hit on us financially as a startup. Huge operational problem to kind of serve 10,000 people in a short span of 2 weeks because schools had reopened. But the experience taught us something, that being genuine with customers actually helps. they kind of recognize that you're building something and it's hard, and they will stay with you. I think we must have retained about 95% plus of our customers even after that experience. We got a lot of emails thanking us for what we did, because nobody had offered a replacement on a shoe for failures that had happened from a company's end. So we always find that even during hard times you can find a bright spot, and that is what taught us during this experience.
The core values at Plaeto, I mean, we own up and address.
The thing is that, this is unrelated, but we've built this company with a sense of gratitude to our customers, because we exist because of them. So every time we have a customer who's unhappy with the product or service, we make it a point between Pavan and I to talk to them and understand and how to solve it. And I think that is one of the things that we really hold dear to heart in terms of how we serve our customers.
Was there ever a "this doesn't feel right" moment throughout your journey here?
No, operationally there are many moments that make you question, given the challenges of building a startup. But at the core of it, it doesn't waver our determination or the purpose that we are here for. And that's what keeps us walking towards our mission of helping children discover the joy of play. Yes, I mean, it's not a bed of roses, but you're here for a purpose, and that is a much bigger calling than the daily challenges.
While this mission and vision and all these things feel like touchy-feely stuff, and a lot of people say that, what is all this? It is important because as a startup founder, you're constantly hit with one challenge after another. You'll run out of money, you'll have product problems, your customers walked out, or the factory says I can't supply, and you'll wake up at 3 a.m. thinking, why am I doing this? And at that time, this purpose is what keeps you going. And that's why it's important. Otherwise, most people will shut up shop and go because there's easier things to do in life.
We could have shut this shop 100 times in the last 6 years. Right?
Tell us more about the non-marking outsole that you have, and are there any funny stories or instances related to that?
The best man to talk about it is Ravi, because he's got stories of cleaning up floors in the past on non-marking soles.
Yeah. So, we designed this non-marking sole because it's one shoe that a child uses or everyone uses for multiple activities. They'll go and play on indoor courts and they're walking on floors, and we didn't want the sole to mark. So compared to some of the other shoes that are out there in the market, ours is developed using a certain pigment added to our material so that it doesn't mark. Now, we were quite confident we had solved this problem till we got a call from a school saying that, hey, children or the akkas there are complaining about shoes marking the floor. So we went there, and for us it was a surprise because we didn't see anything happening when we were there. And so hung around classrooms, and it was happening only in one class particularly where it was getting marked. And so we sat there observing what was happening, and we realized that this was probably a pre-KG class or maybe grade 1, and children were sharpening their pencils, and all the lead was falling on the ground, and they were stepping on it and then going to restrooms and coming back, and then it is all wet and it was marking the floor. We cleaned up the floor, but then we explained as to why it was happening. So it just kind of validated that what we had designed was not wrong. But that was one interesting experience. But in my past, as Pavan said, I've had to clean, gym floors where shoes had marked. We had, that was one of the commitments we had made. But this is pre-Plaeto time, I think.